welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for tuning in, and I always hope that you enjoy the show. Well, we've started something really terrific today. It is theater reviews and news, and it's specifically about what is happening in theater on the shoreline, in the state of Connecticut, on Broadway and off Broadway. And Lauren Yarger, the producer and also a theater reviewer, is my guest today from Gracewell Productions. And I will tell you that Lauren had proposed this probably about 2 months ago, and we kind of tapped into it the last time that she was here, and she said, why don't you do a theater review show? I'd love to do something in broadcast. And I thought it would be a fabulous idea. So why don't you get a pen and a piece of paper out, because you may want to take some notes as to some theater that you would like to see. So I'd like to welcome Lauren back to the show. And Lauren, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you, Deborah. This is exciting.
It's very exciting, and I am so thrilled that you suggested it. I think it would be wonderful for the audience. So we thank you very much for being here.
It's my pleasure. I hope to put a lot of people in seats at our local theaters and also in New York. We have a lot of theater opening right now. There's a lot of shows opening, shows that are playing right now, shows that are coming up. So I want to go through and get as much in as I can today to let your viewers know what's happening along the shoreline in Connecticut and what's happened and what's coming up. A couple of really wonderful things to look for in New York if you want to go into the city. I know that most of your viewers, it's a fairly easy trip in, or even outside of the shoreline in the southern part of Connecticut. So some of these are really worthwhile. First, I wanted to start by telling you of a wonderful program. I think we talked about last time, Deborah, you and I are members of the Connecticut Theater Women Network. And that's a new 501c3 that is primarily to help encourage and support women in theater in Connecticut. And one of the first events of that group is right smack in your area in Clinton. We're having a program called Photoshop 101. And what that is we have Diane Sobolewski and the Associate Marketing Director from Goodspeed Musicals. They're going to be at the library in Clinton for a program where theaters can come and learn more about how to get great production photos for their productions. And that is when you see an article in the newspaper or you're online and you see a photo of the show when a theater says the show is coming up or our season's announced or something like that, there's a photo, and those photos are very specifically it's an art form in itself. The photographer is taking the photos in advance of the production, and they're trying to tell a story through the photo that will get you to be interested in the show and want to come buy tickets. And there's a particular way of doing that, and there's other things connected with production shots like cast photos in advance of the show. And some of the larger professional theaters have staff photographers like Goodspeed, which is where Diane is. But some of the smaller theaters, and we have a lot of them in Connecticut, do not. And so usually it's a volunteer or someone on their board or something who's taking the photography ahead of time. And this is a great seminar, and people can learn how to do this and how to make their photos better and how to get that shot, that wow shot that's going to get people in the door. The great thing about this is it's free. We're offering this service free to anybody from Connecticut Theater who wants to come. Now, the space is limited, so you do need to RSVP. And the best way to do that is to go to our website, which is ctwn.org. And there's a place there where you can click the link and RSVP. So I want to make sure all of the theaters down there knew about that, because it's a great opportunity. I mean, it's free. How can you beat that, right? Okay, so beyond that, I wanted to let you know of a couple of things coming up at theaters down there in the southern part of Connecticut. Ivoryton just concluded a couple of shows, and the next one they have coming up there is a holiday jamboree. It's an original production. It's going to include a lot of songs and stories, folk tales, those kinds of things, all put together around a holiday theme. So it's a new holiday offering that they have, and that's going to be from November 30th to December 21st at Ivoryton Playhouse. And at Westport Country Playhouse, they have a production of The Importance of Being Earnest that's running right now through November 15th. They also have that wonderful Script in Hand series at Westport, which is where the script is read. The actors are on stage, usually just seated in chairs with maybe a music stand in front of them, and they have the script in front of them, and they're reading the script. So it's script in hand. But you can get a good idea of what the play is about, and usually they have some fairly named people that you would know who are reading the scripts down there. I just attended a script in hand reading of the Fitzgeralds about F. Scott Fitzgerald and his wife. And it starred Alex Baldwin and Stephanie Zimbalist. It was really wonderfully done. Mark Shanahan, who's the artistic director at WCP, coordinates that series. So anyway, that the next one coming up there is called The Machine. So you want to get information about that. It's coming up very soon. Great programs, again, in the area. These are not necessarily, that's not a production, a full-length production of any kind, but it's something worthwhile, and you can get out and have a nice night at the theater and enjoy it. Over in Norwalk, I wanted to let you know about the Norwalk Conservatory. This is a school for students who are ready to start a career in the arts, and they go there for some additional training. And then they, from time to time, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, they present productions that are open to the public that you can go to. And they have a production of Footloose coming up the weekend of November 13th through the 16th. They have 5 performances over those 3 days. And it's a great way to see a show. And this, it's the Norwalk Conservatory, but this performance is at the Klein in Bridgeport. So go to their website and look them up and see how you can support this wonderful program for students in Norwalk. Another great theater coming up with some things is the Fairfield Theater Company. They have a lunchtime or an afternoon series that they've just started. This is the theater director, Maureen Hamill, there has a series that she's putting together, so you can go and have this short, they're usually not too long, in the afternoon, they start at 1 o'clock, some kind of a musical afternoon or something like that. It's really worthwhile. The next one coming up is starring Randy Kay. It's called, here, let me get the title so I don't get it wrong. It's called, it's about a life of perfection and not perfection. She has a really interesting story to tell, and she does that in the course of singing some songs and telling stories and whatever. So it's a really pleasant afternoon. And also at Fairfield Theater Company, Maureen has her masterclass series where she brings in some of the greatest names in the theater industry and has them come in and talk about their careers and how they got started. And it's particularly geared for a younger audience of kids who are interested maybe in what am I going to do with my life? And maybe they've never even thought of a career in the theater, but something that this person says will inspire them. So it's a great opportunity for kids to figure out, what's going on in theater and how they might fit in themselves. So these are some really terrific programs that we have going on, right in our local area. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that and got those in before I launched into some of the shows that are happening elsewhere. I know that when Deborah and I talked about doing this, she wanted to be sure that we talked about some things off Broadway as well as on Broadway, because I, for one, feel that a lot of the better things I've seen in most recent years have been off Broadway. And, it has that reputation of being not as good as Broadway or something like that. But really, it's a great place to see some different kinds of works, or some works that, for whatever reason, they're not going to find a Broadway stage to be on. They might be, too many people in them, they're too expensive or something like that. So it's always good to know what's coming up and what's happening on off Broadway as well. I saw a really wonderful performance off Broadway that I wanted to let you know about. It was called Torera, and it was the story of a woman in Mexico who wanted to be a bullfighter. And she obviously found some resistance to that because women don't do that. And so it's the story of her desires and her ability to train and trying to get the ability to train to be a bullfighter, and her friendship with a boy who does become a bullfighter. And there's sort of a little bit of a romantic link between them. It's not really about that, but more about their relationship and the friendship and how their desires to succeed in this industry are at conflict with each other sometimes. But the really interesting part of this storytelling was there was choreography in it. So it was a play. It wasn't a musical, but it was a play where there were two dancers who, in between scenes, would continue to tell the story through dance. And it was just really interestingly done. And the reason I'm telling you all about this, that I really enjoyed it, was that it was a co-production with Long Wharf from up here in Connecticut. So sometimes you'll see that that's what happens, is that some of the theaters that are off Broadway are collaborations with other theaters, sometimes outside of New York, and that gives them the ability to do a presentation in New York, but sometimes you'll see them in other places too. So right now, Torero is probably not, is closed now in New York, but I wanted to tell you about it. If you ever see it, it's definitely one that's worthwhile seeing, because not only did it get a push because of its connection with Connecticut and other theaters, but it's a good production. So I wanted to let you know about that one.
And Lauren, just excuse me for a second. We're going to take a break. I'm
Okay,
Deborah
thanks.
Gilbert. You're tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. We are going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Thousands of kids start vaping, and I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is vaping? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You didn't turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
To the left. To the right. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. And as always, it's so great to have you. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Well, we're highlighting theater reviews and news, and Lauren Yarger is my guest today to talk all about this. And again, you may want to have a piece of paper and pen to be able to take down some notes of some theater that you may want to see, either in Connecticut or New York. And Lauren, go ahead, please. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what else is happening.
Well, I have a couple of reviews for you. Well, one is not really a review. I can't technically review this show yet because it hasn't opened, but I can tell you about it because I think it's one you might want to see. It's off Broadway, and it is Romy and Michelle's reunion. If you remember, there was a film by that name, and it starred Lisa Kudrow and Maura Sorvino as two high school friends who 10 years later go back to their high school for a reunion. And it's silly funny. It's just, I really enjoyed the movie. And for me, this is one of the few movies that when I heard they were making a musical out of it, I thought, I can see that. Sometimes they say a musical is coming from something, and I'm thinking, really? That you made a musical out of that? I just, how did you do that? But this one, it seemed like it lent itself well to it. And I would say, again, without commenting directly on the show, I saw it just recently, and it opens very soon. It's very much fun. The theater was packed. There was an enthusiastic audience. It's really kind of over the top, but the music is fun. And the two actresses, Laura Bell Bundy is one of them, who's a Broadway actress. So again, you're off Broadway, but you have some star quality in there, among other people in the show as well. They kind of remind you of the two characters from the movie without trying to impersonate them, if you know what I mean. And except for, maybe one short change in the storytelling, it's pretty much the movie. So if you enjoyed the movie, I think you will very much enjoy this show. It's done on a very big scale. It's lots of projections and sets and costumes and things. It's very entertaining to watch. And again, the story is just fun. It's, these two girls who were not popular really in high school, suddenly realize that maybe they haven't done anything with their lives really in the last 10 years. So they make up a story about how successful they are, and to try to impress these classmates who used to taunt them. And it's silly and it's fun, but it also has the message in there about, what's really important and how much does it really matter what other people think about you. Is it more, that you're satisfied with your life and what you're doing. So it's a fun musical. I recommend it. Now I really want to talk about the one I really want to talk about is Ragtime, which is at Lincoln Center. And this is amazing. If you have to pick one show to go into New York to see, this is the one, if you possibly can do it. It's an amazing production of this wonderful musical. I don't think I've ever seen a production of Ragtime that I didn't like. It's a good musical. It has themes that are relevant. It's the story of three groups of people at the turn of the century: an upper class family, immigrants who come to the city, and the Black community. And they sort of touch on each other in the story that unfolds. But it's amazing music. It's a great story, but this production is amazing. Joshua Henry is Coltrane, and I was just blown out of my seat. He is one of my favorite actors. He's always good no matter what he's been in, but this is his role. And I think it's going to be very difficult to beat him for the Tony Award this year. I know it's early in the season, but I just cannot imagine seeing a performance that's more compelling than his in this musical. The thing about this too is that it's at Lincoln Center. So we're getting into the holiday season, and I just was in New York. It's really busy. Tourism is up, definitely back. I would say to me, it seems like it's at pre-pandemic levels. You cannot move hardly in Times Square. It's not quite as bad as it gets during the Thanksgiving and holiday season in December, but it's pretty busy. So if you're going to this show, you can just skip all of that in Times Square. You go right up to Lincoln Center, and you'd be very excited to not have to deal with any of that. But this production, I just cannot say enough about it. You will not see another production like this of Ragtime. Again, any production will probably be good, but this one, a 28-piece orchestra, you just don't see that on stage anymore. It's impossible. It's so expensive to do that. So usually the orchestra is cut back. The lighting in this production is amazing. It's unbelievable. They create very simply. It's not a big show with lights and spinning things and all of that, but it's very subtly done so that the lighting and the direction and the movement on the stage create these vignettes, and you feel like you're in a different world. It's like a whole world just creates itself in front of you on the stage. There's one scene in particular that I was just amazed. It's a piece of material, really, is all it is, but the lighting on it changes it from looking like a storm is coming in to a sunset, and it's It's just amazing. It's just a piece of material. So I can't say enough good about this production and recommend it enough. I would say move quickly if you're interested in seeing it, because it's a limited run only through January 4th. At this point, they have not extended it yet. I'm hoping that we will hear that they will be able to do that. But if not, it's going to end its run right after the holidays. Seats are going to be hard to get, so I would say get one now. Anyway, that is my top pick on Broadway for all of you at this point, and a lot of other good things to see, both Broadway and off Broadway and in Connecticut, where we're just so blessed to have so much great theater going on. It's a pleasure to come on, Deborah, and talk to you about it all.
Oh, it's so wonderful. What a fabulous overview. I can't get over it. But you know what? I've asked you before, and I'll ask you again. It sounds very positive, but how do you feel? We're going into November of 2025, getting into 2026. Are you feeling a difference in the surge in theater? Is theater getting better?
Well, you know, we have a lot of theater happening. We have a lot of people buying tickets. It's still just very difficult to do it. It's very, very expensive. And people are coming back to the theater. They are buying seats. I'm not sure that we're back at pre-pandemic levels for that at all. So we've had to rethink how we do theater and some of the pricing for tickets. And people are experimenting and trying. I'm not sure that I don't know that anybody could tell you that they've just got their feet under them and we're back to normal yet, but at least it seems better than it was.
Now, you're a producer for Gracewell Productions. Tell us what that's all about. That's gracewellproductions.com.
Yes, well, that's my production company, and I produce shows or different theatrical type events through that company. I did a reading series at the Palace Theater in Waterbury and a reading series at Ivoryton Playhouse. I'm looking at 3 different series right now, possibly with some announcements about those to come in the new year. So it's just kind of looking at what needs to be done, what shows I'm interested in investing in or producing myself, that kind of thing.
And as we start to slowly run out of time, we've talked about the League of Professional Theater Women, which is now the Connecticut Women Theater Network. Tell us what that is all about now.
Well, we are a 501c3 organization, and we are here to network with other women who make theater in Connecticut. And there are hundreds of women in Connecticut working in theater. And we are sort of the hub so that we're a connection for them. If you're working in one corner of the state, it's often that you don't have any idea who the people are who are making theater in the other part of the state far away. So we have networking events where we can meet each other, and we have special events like that photo shop, photo shot workshop coming up, where people can learn and grow in their professional area of theater. We have, in every other year, we do the Celebrate program. So we do the Connecticut Theater Women Awards and the Women's Playwright Festival. Those are large events that happen in March. So we try to keep connected and try to be supportive and helpful to anybody we can across the state.
Okay, we are slowly starting to run out of time. Any closing thoughts for the viewer before we go?
There really are so many different kinds of offerings. So if you like musicals, great. If you don't like musicals, there's other things. If you don't want to have to go to a whole show, maybe at a larger ticket price, we have these wonderful other offerings, the afternoon series, or the students at the conservatory. You can pick and choose here. We're just really, really blessed in Connecticut with all of the options that we have. So any part of theater that you like, you can probably find something to see. So support the groups that are doing it.
Well, I want to thank you so much. Congratulations. What a wonderful first show for us. I'm so excited.
Well, we'll see what we have on the next one. It seems like the opportunities are endless for what I can be talking about.
Absolutely. Well, myself speaking from my point of view, as well as the viewer, we look forward to welcoming you back again in the near future, another month or two, and we'll talk about what's happening in Connecticut and New York.
Great. I look forward to it.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. It's been a pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We've been talking about theater reviews and news. I hope you've enjoyed it. Take some notes and maybe get out there and see some theater. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned into Arts and Entertainment. In case you need to reach me, I'm at artsandentertainment@mail.com. Well, I hope you have a super day. Thank you as always for tuning in. I really hope you've enjoyed the show. It's a kickoff for us and we're very excited about it. Have a super day. Thank you again. I'll see you next time.